Well, I wasn't expecting to turn this into a live stream, but I have to, guys. So, what's up, everybody? This is Preston, and in this live stream, I am going to be ranking every single NASCAR Cup Series drivers 2025 season. Now, this is just for full-time drivers only. So, I tried doing this video with a screen recorder on my laptop, and apparently it just went to complete crap because it wouldn't even record the entire thing. So, like I said, this is the best thing I can come up with doing a live stream about this. So, yeah, guys. So, basically, how I'm gonna be ranking these drivers is if they had a breakout season, meaning that it's one of the best seasons of their careers, or like if they just had an outstanding caliber kind of season. And above average is basically what it is. If you had an above average season, if you met my expectations, or you have just met my expectations, met or exceeded my expectations. I mean, you didn't have an above average year or breakout, but you at least met my expectations. And then underwhelming doesn't mean you really had a bad season. It just basically means like you weren't as good as I thought you were going to be. And then overall on the bottom, just bad season. So anyways, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First, let's start off with Ross Chastain. He met my expectations this season. Ross Chastain, man, he did. I said that at the start of the season that Chastain would get back and have a comeback year to get into the playoffs, and made it up to the round of 12. So, yeah, guys, Ross Chastain this season. So, So Ross Chastain this year had a total of 4 top 5s, 12 top 10s, and an average finish of 15.8. So Ross Chastain, man, I'd say he had a bounce back year. He made the playoffs, made it up to the round of 12. Yeah, he had a bounce back. Now, Austin Cindric, coming into this year, I didn't really expect much from Austin Cindric. Now, if when you're in the Penske car and so far your rookie season is so far your best season, that's definitely underwhelming. But since Austin Cindric did make the playoffs and I didn't have him making the playoffs, therefore I have to put him and exceed my expectations. I mean, he made it up to the round of 12. So at that, again, I did not expect that. I thought heading into the start of the season, Cindric in the first few races, Cindric was on his way to having the best season of his career, but apparently it just fell down the drain as the season went on. So, yeah. And now we have Austin Dillon. Again, just like with Austin Cindric, exceeded my expectations, guys. I mean, he made the playoffs. Aside from that, his season has just not been good. Like I said at the start of the season, Austin Dillon would be lower in the standings, and I was right on that. So therefore, he met or exceeded my expectations, goes in that category. Noah Gragson, bad season. I thought Noah Gragson was going to do so much better would be so much better than this. Like, man, Noah Gragson this year, he ends up finishing below the 30s in points. He's 34th in the final standings, has a 25.2 average finish. So it's not good. Just not a good season. Not what I was hoping for Noah Gragson. So, yeah, I'm going to read some of y'all's comments real quick. Yeah, I do agree with that. Other than that, I didn't even have Austin Dillon making the playoffs. I even said at the start of the season, Cindric was not going, Austin Dillon was not going to have a good season up to this point. And, I had to put him at my expectations because I had low for him. So, yeah. I thought Noah Gragson, though, he was going to be much better. I thought he was going to have if similar, if not a better season than what he did while he was at Stewart-Haas. But hey, I mean, I think the third car could be it. I'm not sure, but yeah. Now I got Kyle Larson. I'm not going to say breakout season just because of the fact that I feel like there are much better seasons where Larson has put up better numbers. He did win the championship, though, so congratulations to Kyle Larson once again. He had an above-average season, if you ask me. He hasn't won a race since Kansas, however, back in May, so that's why I'm not saying breakout season. But he definitely had an above-average season to stay. Larson scored the most points out of anybody from what it looks like. Larson earns the most points out of anybody this year, so that makes me feel a lot better. Well, it makes me feel better of Denny Hamlin losing that championship in that heartbreaking fashion. 15 top fives for Kyle Larson, 22 top tens, which is the tied for the highest in the series with Christopher Bell, and an average finish of 13.2. So I'd say at above average year to say. Brad Keselowski, bad season. Just a bad season for Brad Keselowski. Well, I mean, not in a bad way, just underwhelming, guys. Underwhelming. I meant him to put it underwhelming. He had a bad season to start, but then he made that up as the season went on and heading into the postseason, when the playoffs rolled around. Keselowski turned things back up. But man, this start of the season was horrible for Brad Keselowski. But thankfully, he was able to turn it up and was able to finish top 20 in points, I think, somewhere around there. Brad Keselowski this year, I'm going to go try to see where I can find him in the standings. He's 20th with an average finish of 18.5 and has 21 top 20s, 13 top 10 finishes. I had Brad making the playoffs this year, so yeah, it's it was just underwhelming season to say for Brad. Luckily he finished on on a strong suit there. Managed to get back to top 20 in points. I'm new to NASCAR. Let's go Bills. Yep, go Bills. Unfortunately, they absolutely were horrible against the Dolphins. Let's hope they bounce back against the Bucs. Anyway, Justin Haley. I didn't have any expectations for Justin Haley, but when you lose your ride and having somewhat of a similar worst season as what you did in Rick Ware, I have to say bad season. Now he's going back to the Truck Series next year, so he'll be competitive opportunity. But again, it's just bad season for Justin Haley. There were times where I thought Justin Haley wasn't even in the race, so because he was like that quiet. So yeah, I have to say bad season. Kyle Busch, I didn't have him making the playoffs this year, but when you're a two-time champion, how I've seen Kyle Busch this year, this is his worst season so far of his career, and for a two-time champion, especially for Kyle Busch standards, I'm sorry, I have to say bad season for Kyle Busch. Like I didn't have him making the playoffs this year, but with the way how he's been towards the end of the season, it was just rough. This season for Kyle Busch has just been another rough one, if not just as bad as last year, if not worse. So, yeah, Kyle Busch this season, this is the first time he's finished outside of the top 20 points and an average finish of 17.9, has 10 top 10s on the year. Like, just not that kind of, I didn't trust, I don't trust RCR and their equipment. That's why I didn't have Kyle Busch making the playoffs, but I thought he would at least somewhat improve. So, man, it's unfortunate. Unfortunate for Kyle Busch there. Chase Elliott, I'm going to say above average. I'm just going to say an above average season just because, he's got first time he's had multiple wins since the 2022 season. His average finish, I'm going to go ahead and look at that. His average finish is a 12. I think 12.6, and at one point had like 20 up until the Richmond race. He had finished in the top 20 in every race, I think. Top 20, top 21 around there. So yeah, he's finished in the top 20, 32 of the 36 races this season. That's outstanding. So to be consistent. So yeah, therefore I say Chase Elliott. He has an above average. Ty Dillon met my expectations. I mean, who had any expectations for Ty Dillon heading this year? Practically nobody, other than he was in the final round of the in-season challenge. Denny Hamlin breakout season. Like, this is the most wins in the Gen 7 era for Denny Hamlin. Highest points finish in the official NASCAR final standing since 2010. Was 3 laps away from winning the championship until that caution came out. And that bad strategy call by Chris Gale. Yeah, I would say, man, this is the best season of Denny Hamlin's career in the Gen 7 era. For Denny Hamlin this season, has 6 wins, 14 top 5s, 18 top 10s, and an average finish of 14th. So around there, guys. So, yeah, I would say Denny Hamlin, man, best season of Denny Hamlin's career when it comes to the Gen 7 car. 6 wins, most out of anybody, also of anybody in the field. Had his best season, was highest official standings in the points, finished in the points since 2010. And yeah, man, it definitely that that loss, that championship loss, definitely sucked. And I can officially say that was without a doubt the most heartbreaking loss, devastating defeat I've witnessed as a Denny Hamlin fan, and just one of the most devastating defeats I've seen as a NASCAR fan. It's up there with some of the most brutal sports losses. It's up there with the Buffalo Bills Scott Norwood wide right in the Super Bowl back in the 90s, 13 seconds. It's up there with those losses. So, yeah. But Denny Hamlin, I'd say, had a breakout season this year where I didn't even think he would make it to this far. I didn't even think he would make it to the championship four coming into this year. So, yeah, just a breakout season, definitely. Ryan Blaney, I said at the start of the season this would be Ryan Blaney's best season of his career when it comes to a statistical standpoint. I was right on it. 4 wins, pretty much the most of his career. He won at Phoenix, by the way, if you want to know his fourth. He got his wins at New Hampshire, Daytona, Nashville, and Phoenix in the fall. Yeah, Ryan Blaney this year has 15 top fives, 19 top 10s, and an average finish of 14.6. So, like Ryan Blaney, man, he was just he had 8 DNFs though, but I did say at the start of the season this will be Ryan Blaney's breakout best season from a statistical standpoint, and I nailed that prediction right. Who's your favorite driver? Denny Hamlin, 3-time Daytona 500 champion, will go down as the best NASCAR Cup Series driver without a championship. And at this point, I just hope he can become the winningest driver in NASCAR by the time he retires. Active driver surpassing Kyle Busch because he has the current most wins with 63 career victories. So, yeah, Denny Hamlin, I have his flag, 3-time Daytona 500 one flag on my wall. So, yeah. AJ Allmendinger, underwhelming. I thought AJ would just do more this year. I thought he would be a little bit more competitive at the road courses. Sure, SVG dominated them, but I thought AJ Allmendinger would be a top 5 car. It wasn't as good as I thought it would be. He had some flashes at tracks like Homestead, the Coca-Cola 600. I don't know about the Coca-Cola 600 Homestead for sure, but I think in the Southern 500 maybe. But other than that, just wasn't as good as I thought he would be though. Chris Buescher, I'm sorry, man. I have to say underwhelming now. Do I think underwhelming means your season's bad? No, it just depends on my expectations. And Chris Buescher, I had to make in the playoffs, and this is the first time in Chris Buescher's Gen 7 in the Gen 7 era, Chris Buescher has not won a race. So I have to say underwhelming. I have to. He didn't have a bad season by any means, but just I had to make in the playoffs. Just fell short. Chase Briscoe. I'm going to say breakout season. Chase Briscoe made the most out of his opportunity for his first season at Joe Gibbs Racing. Won at Pocono, won the Southern 500 for a second year in a row, and then won at Talladega, which I was there in person when he won. So, yeah, man, Chase Briscoe, pull up his stats. 15 top 5s, 19 top 10s, average finish of 12.7. Best season of Chase Briscoe's career by far, and I think it's only going to get better from here. So, yeah, Chase Briscoe, breakout season for him. Definitely made the most out of his opportunity. Definitely. Made the championship four. Made the most out of his opportunity, definitely. Christopher Bell. I looked at Christopher Bell's statistics from the previous years, and I would say this is the best season of Christopher Bell's career from a statistical standpoint as well with Ryan Blaney. Like, I think this is the highest average finish Christopher Bell has had in his career. Most wins he's had in a season. He had an average finish. Christopher Bell has an average finish of 11.2. Like, has 13 top 5s, 22 top 10s. Won the All-Star race, 2 to go along with that. So technically, well, that's 4 points wins, but if you add the All-Star race, that makes 5. So breakout season, but keep an eye out for this 20 team. They are going to be a threat for the big threat. Adam Stevens and Christopher Bell, they're a good combination. They're going to come out. They're going to be hot. They're going to win the champion. They're going to be a big-time championship contender. Keep an eye out for this 20 car, folks, for this 20 team. Josh Berry met my expectations. I said at the start of the season that the Wood brothers is going to take a step up this year, and I was right about that. However, though, he did start off very strong and then cooled off. But, man, he had, without a doubt, the worst playoffs I have ever seen. And none of it's on Josh Berry, man. Josh Berry just had horrible luck. He got loose in turn 1 at Darlington, spun out again at Gateway, and then I don't know what happened. I think he had some sort of mechanical issue. So, yeah, therefore, I'm going to have to say he did met my expectations this year, obviously, because I didn't have him making the playoffs, but he did. The Wood brothers and Josh Berry, they did like they met my expectations, folks. Joey Logano met my expectations this year. I said he was going to be a playoff contender, and I was right about that, guys. Of course, he's a three-time champion. Of course, I had to make him the playoffs this year, and he did as good as he met my expectations, folks. This is, however, though, this is Logano's worst season of his career when it comes to him being at Penske, but he improved his average finish, and he only has one win, though, but he did make it up to the round of 8. From a statistical standpoint, this is Logano's worst season since joining Team Penske in 2013. And then we got Bubba Wallace in the 23. He met and exceeded my expectations. I was so worried Bubba was going to miss the playoffs this year just because of how this new crew chief, Charles Tonight, was going to do. Again, Bubba Wallace, like I've been saying with Bubba, he's been getting better every single year. And this year he showed it, man. He won the Brickyard 400, made it up to the round of 12. Like, this was, in my opinion, a successful season for Bubba Wallace, and I think it's only going to get better next year. So, yeah. William Byron, he had an above-average season. William Byron, this isn't the best season of William Byron's career. He had 3 wins, won the Daytona 500 for a second year in a row, won in Iowa, won Martinsville from being in a must-win situation, punched his ticket to Phoenix, and then definitely had an above-average year. He won the regular season championship as well. So, I'd say an above-average year for William Byron. William Byron this year has an average finish of 14.5, 16 top 10 finishes. Not Michael McDowell. This was Michael McDowell's former ride. Todd Gilliland's now in it. I'm going to have to say underwhelming. I just thought Todd Gilliland would finish higher in the standings. I don't know if it's just because Front Row just took a step back this year, or Todd Gilliland or that team, I don't know if when Michael McDowell left, they just took a step back. Maybe the third car had something to do with this. They're in that lawsuit with 2311. Like, I don't know, man. I thought Todd Gilliland would do a little more. So, yeah, I thought he would finish in the 22nd, 21st, like around where he was, I think last season, do around just like he was last year. So, yeah. Riley Herbst, I was so worried for Riley Herbst this year that he was going to be the next Harrison Burton, and I pretty much nailed that right, guys. He was awful this year. He finished dead last, 35th in, Cody Ware's worse, but 35th in points. Perfect, because it's the number 35. Riley Herbst, this is the car that's coming out of the same shop as Tyler Reddick, who made it to Phoenix last year. Listen, I didn't have any expectations for Riley Herbst. I feel like Corey Heim would outrun him. So I feel like Herbst is only in the 35 because of sponsorship from Monster. But man, I just didn't think Riley Herbst was ready for Cup and heading into this year. Sure, he has a rookie crew chief, but coming into this year, I thought he was not ready for Cup, and he practically proved that this year. I mean, there were times at super speedways where he's shown up. Like I think he had a qualifying run. I think at Talladega, finished qualifying inside the top 15 or 20. But Riley Herbst, man, this was just a bad season, man. I have to put him in bad season, even though I had low to no expectations. This was a bad season because you're a 2311 racing car. You should do better, way better. Well, you should do better than at least below the top 30 in points. I'm sorry, it's just bad season. Zane Smith met my expectations. I had minimal expectations because I didn't know how Zane Smith was going to pretty much do, so I had minimal expectations for Zane Smith. Cole Custer. I actually had Cole Custer higher than 25th in the standings. I had predicted him to be at least kind of performing how Noah Gragson and Josh Berry were last year, but he was worse than that, unfortunately. And that's a shame because I want to see Cole Custer improve. But hopefully the move over to Chevrolet next year could help Cole Custer in the Haas factory team. But guys, this is what's left of a dead Storehouse racing team. This is what's left of a dead SHR team. And maybe I got my expectations just a little too high, but I thought Custer was going to do more heading into this year. So, it is what it is. I hope Cole Custer can improve from next year. So, yeah. John Hunter Nemechek and Eric Jones, they both exceeded my expectations. They met and exceeded my expectations, guys. Well, exceeded them because I thought they're going to be around 26th or 27th in points. I thought they were going to be lower, but But there were some points where they were in the top 5 and top 10, like the Coca-Cola 600 in Nashville from earlier this season. Nemechek and Eric Jones had some good runs. Eric Jones was contending for the Southern 500. Like, this team got better. This team got better this year, and I'm very happy to see that. So, yeah, Eric Jones and Nemechek, they took a step up this year from last year, and yeah, very happy about that. Hopefully they can improve even more. Tyler Reddick. Now, Tyler Reddick this year didn't have a bad season, but man, I thought he was going to do more. So therefore, I can't put him in meet or met my expectations, and I can't say above average. Therefore, I'm going to have to say underwhelming. Look, does that mean Tyler Reddick had a bad season? No, of course not. Reddick, I think, had a solid season, just not as good as I hoped it would be. I thought he was going to be a championship 4 contender. Thought he was going to have more wins. Thought he was going to have wins. Didn't accomplish that. Had speed this year, just couldn't get it done. He was in the conversation once Austin Dillon won at Richmond, and then once he got in that wreck at Daytona, I was worried he was going to miss the playoffs. So therefore, I have to say underwhelming. I'm sorry. He didn't have a bad season at all. I think he had a solid season. Just took a step back from last year, definitely. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. What on earth happened to this team? They were 1 point inside the top 15 in points after the Coca-Cola 600, and then with the Nashville incident with Carson Hocevar happened, this team just fell off a complete cliff. So they ended up finishing 30th in the standings around there. Man, just what happened to Stenhouse? He just fell off a cliff after when the incident between Carson Hocevar and him at Nashville happened. Alex Bowman met my expectations. I said he's going to make the playoffs this year, whether it's by pointing his way in or winning. And yeah, I was right. I was right about that for Bowman. Cody Ware, I mean, it's a Cody Ware season. Nothing really much to say there. Ty Gibbs, underwhelming. I had him making the playoffs this year, and he's going to become the next Austin Dillon, guys. I have a feeling he's going to become the next Austin Dillon. And yeah, man, Ty Gibbs this year, man, started off the year like with Brad Keselowski horribly, and then turned up the jets later on. Added Chris Gabehart up to the box, up to the crew chief box at one point, at points in the year. So, I mean, therefore, man, Ty Gibbs, I have to say underwhelming. Definitely underwhelming. I thought he would do better this year, but he's likely going to become the next Austin Dillon. Ryan Preece, he met my expectations. Ryan Preece, man, I said I feel like this was going to be the best season of his career from a statistical standpoint. I was right about that, guys. His average finish was the best of his career than what he was with SHR and JTG Doherty. Ryan Preece this year had a 15.7 average finish, which is the best of his career. 3 top 5 finishes, and 14 top 10s. So I would say, man, I was right about Ryan Preece, best season of his career so far. Now we have Michael McDowell. He met my expectations. I didn't have him making the playoffs, but I thought he was going to pop off here and there. He led at some laps at the Chicago Street Course and was contending for the win at Texas until he crashed out, unfortunately. Man, it would have been awesome to see Michael McDowell win at Texas, but man, Michael McDowell, man, I think he met my expectations. He was going to be the veteran guy over at Spire. I didn't have him making the playoffs, but I thought he would be contending, and there were times where he was. So, yeah, I have to put McDowell in, met my expectations this year. Carson Hocevar, underwhelming, unfortunately. I had Carson Hocevar being a playoff contender. I didn't have him making the playoffs, but man, he showed some flashes. He showed flashes at Bristol, the Coca-Cola 600, Michigan, but just the execution, the mechanical failures plagued this team. And Carson Hocevar did get into some scuffles this year, but other than that, man, there were some times where he's shown flashes, and I am a believer in Carson Hocevar. I feel like he's going to have a bounce back year. I feel like he's going to have a better year than this one. And he has speed. He has talent. It's just that can the 77 team execute? Can the 77 team's mechanical issues plague them again? Let's just wait and see, guys. But hopefully next year Carson Hocevar can do better. But this season, I thought he was going to be a playoff contender. He showed flashes of speed, but just the execution was not playoff caliber. And then Shane Van Gisbergen, definitely an above average season. Now, The reason why I'm not saying in breakout season, just because of because of Shane Van Gisbergen's success on the ovals, but this was definitely an above average season. Shane Van Gisbergen dominated the road courses, and we all expected SVG to be great at the road courses. Won the Rookie of the Year. This wasn't definitely an above average season for obviously for a rookie having like 5 wins, winning 5 out of the 6 road course races. He's going to go down as the best season of SVG's career. And if he does be better next year, if he does improve on the ovals in a big way next year, he's going to go in the breakout season. He's going to go in breakout season if he does improve on the ovals and contend for top 10s more. So I'm going to say above average for SVG. But man, what a successful season for Shane Van Gisbergen. His number is going to be moving to the 97. So that's going to be exciting for SVG with a familiar, really meaningful number to him. Now we got Daniel Suarez, the last driver. I'm sorry, he had a bad season. He ended up this was the worst season of Suarez's career since joining Trackhouse. He lost his ride. He's going to be going to Spire next year to replace Justin Haley in the 7. But man, Daniel Suarez, I thought he was going to be in that conversation in the round where Ryan Preece and McDowell are. I thought they were going to be around there, around where them, of course, mostly were Ryan Preece and contend with the Roush guys. But Trackhouse Racing did take a step back when it comes to speed at the ovals. But like I said with Ross Chastain, he did end up winning the Coca-Cola 600. And Daniel Suarez, he ended up finishing all the way back in the 29th in standings. Had an average. Let me take a look at his average finish. His average finish is 20.9. See if I'm right. Yeah, 20th average finish. Almost a 21st place average finish. Worst season since joining Trackhouse, and literally I think the worst since when he was with Gaunt Brothers in 2020. I have to say bad season, man. I have to say bad season, unfortunately. So yeah, like I said, lost his rides, going over the Spire. Like, this was not a good season for Daniel Suarez, unfortunately. So yeah, guys, that is it for me ranking every single NASCAR Cup Series drivers 2025 season. Just on my laptop just did not work whatsoever, did not cooperate. So this is the best I can come up with making a live stream. So yeah, guys, anyways, this is Preston signing off. Peace out.